People waste so much time figuring things out by themselves when they could have moved faster towards getting a paycheck if they had booked a consultation with me. Hi, I'm Renata Bernardi, and this is the Job Hunting Podcast, where I interview experts and professionals and discuss issues that are important for job hunters and those who are working to advance their careers. So make sure that you subscribe and follow, and let's dive right in. Hello everyone, it's Renata here, and today is another solo episode with me chatting to you about coaching and when it doesn't work. Let's talk about it. Sometimes coaching doesn't work. It may not work for you. And I'm going to tell you 11 reasons why you don't need a coach and 5 reasons why you may need a coach, but it may not work for you, at least not yet. So keep on listening and let's go. So it's a challenge for job hunters when it comes to making this decision about engaging a career coach, especially when they're not earning a paycheck. If you're earning a paycheck and you want to move, then frankly, engaging a coach is, in my opinion, a no-brainer, right? It will help you. You're working full-time, part-time, you're busy, you have other things in your mind, not only work, maybe personal life. Paying someone to support you as you look for another job, to me, is a very good investment if you have a paycheck. There's a no-brainer situation there, in my view. Someone like me and many others have a range of services so that, if you are not able to afford private coaching one-on-one, then there's group coaching, there's, consultations in my case, and LinkedIn audits. So the Reset Your Career, a fantastic little program that's ready for you whenever you need. Michael Inger, who I interviewed for episode 129, said you don't need to reinvent the wheel and start a resume from scratch when there are perfectly good and easy templates and services available to help you with tried and tested strategies that will help you move faster forward and get your new job. So I really like those final words in that episode from Michael, and this idea of reinventing the wheel is something that really upsets me because people waste so much time figuring things out by themselves when they could have moved faster towards getting a paycheck if they had booked a consultation with me, right? So that is one way of thinking about it. It seems counterintuitive, however, to spend money at the precise time when you need to be saving it. So instead, you push forward and you hope things will work out, and then they don't work out, and then you get really frustrated, and then you're closer to having no savings, and then hiring a coach becomes more and more unattainable. But working with a coach is not for everyone, and it's also not for every job search. So if you're struggling with that decision, should I hire a coach? Is it time or not? Here are a few questions that you can ask yourself to help you understand if you need a coach or not. So let's talk about the 11 reasons why you may not need a coach. The first reason is you know exactly what you want to do next and how to do it. And sometimes you just do, right? Some people have a very clear idea of what they're trying to achieve and how to go about doing it. If that's the case, then you may not need a coach. Now let's keep on listening because maybe some of the other reasons may not apply to you. The second reason would be that you have done many successful job transitions in your career. So you have that familiarity with job hunting techniques. You know how to apply for jobs. You know how to do job interviews. You feel comfortable talking about yourself in a job interview, and you have a network of recruiters. So you have that familiarity and you've been successful at it. So there you go. Again, another reason not to engage a coach. The third one is you have a strong and supportive professional network, and that includes people that can be your references and recruiters that know you, and you're very close to your references. They are your advocates and your champions, former bosses, managers, people that have been your colleagues in the past that can tap you on the shoulder and support your recruitment and selection into new roles. If that's the case, another reason why you may not need a coach. The fourth reason is you have received feedback that your resume is fine and you don't think it needs a substantial change. So if your resume is impressive, if you have been converting from resume to first interviews, then you probably, at least for now, don't need a coach in that stage of your job search, right? And, a lot of people may find that their resume is fine. You probably have regularly updated your resume and it's ATS compliant. So I listed that as a second reason why you don't need a coach, because I think ATS compliance is an expertise and a technique, and some people know how to do it well, others don't really know. And if you are confident that your resume is compliant with the tracking system, the applicant tracking system, which means if you're applying for jobs online and it's an online application, you're not sending it attached to an email, you're sending it as an online application on a website. It needs to be compliant with the tracking softwares that are used to read your resume. So if you feel that your resume is compliant, so at least at this stage, you may not need a coach. The other reason why you probably don't need a coach is if you are comfortable on video and you have experience in straight-to-camera video interviews. Now, more and more when you're applying for jobs, you're asked not only to do, let's say Zoom job interviews where you will be looking at somebody. So it might be Zoom, it might be another platform, Skype or whatever, but you have people that you're talking to and people are kind of getting used to that. Some people don't like it, but more and more it's very common. However, job interviews now many times require you to look straight at the camera and record yourself, let's say for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, answering questions that are sent to you on that minute, that the time that the interview is for, or sometimes they're sent, a day before and you have to prepare that video and send it back. Now, some people have never done this before and it can be, a bit awkward. I'm used to it now because I'm always recording podcasts. Some of my podcasts are not this one, but some are video podcasts. You can go to my YouTube channel and watch. But if you go to the very old ones, you will see, I've become better on video and it's like riding a bike. If you've never ridden a bike before, it's kind of weird and difficult at the beginning. So as a coaching exercise, I work a lot with clients on presentation, especially for these sort of new ways of recruiting in 2022 and beyond. You are happy where you are. That's another reason. If you're happy where you are, job-wise and career-wise, then you're fine. And this might be counterintuitive for it to be on this list, but many times people reach out to me and they're kind of fine. They're like, no, I actually enjoy my job. I enjoy where I am. I just had a couple of questions, but that doesn't really require career coaching per se, right? So if that's the case, then you don't need a coach. If you're happy where you are, you enjoy your job, you enjoy your career, then you may not need a coach, at least not for now. You have a crisp pitch and you've worked on it and you've tested it and it's successful. Okay, so you have a pitch, like an elevator pitch, a pitch that you can use as an about section on your LinkedIn profile, a pitch that you can use when a recruiter calls you and asks about you and who you are. You've tested it out. It's being successful. By successful, it means like when you tell people your pitch, they nod, they understand, and if you're applying for a job, you move to the next round. So that's a successful pitch there for you. Another reason is that you have had job interviews recently and landed jobs and they were great for you. When I say recently, I'm thinking in the last 2 years. So if you applied for a job, let's say 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, you got a job, then you know what it takes to get a job in these modern times, in this kind of turbulent times, right? So you can do it again and you may not need a career coach, at least not for now. Another reason, is that you consistently make it into the first and second stage of the interview. So not just the first and second stage of interviewing. So it's probably just a matter of time before you get a job offer. If you feel like, you have this gut feeling that I'm doing this, I'm getting the first job interview, I'm reaching the finish line, and it will be just a matter of time before one of these applications will be successful. So keep on doing that. And, at least for now, you may not need to engage a coach. Maybe a consultation to help you with salary negotiations. A lot of people do that. I love doing salary negotiations, when the contract is on your hand or in your inbox and you want to make the most out of it. And then finally, you may not need a coach if you have been moving up in your career and achieving the goals that you set out for yourself, right? So you have a clear understanding of what you want to achieve with your career, be it career advancement or career sustainability, how long you want to work for, and you are reaching those goals. You've established, maybe intuitively without even knowing, you've established a good mechanism to reach those goals and carry on developing better career plans and goals for you in the future. So if you are somebody that maybe naturally is good at that, you may not need a coach for now. All right, now I'm going to tell you what I believe are the 5 reasons why you may need a coach, but it may not work for you right now. It may not work for you yet. I would really want it to work for you, but maybe you're not ready to have a coach yet. Okay? And here are some of the reasons why. And when I say these things, all the 11 reasons I just mentioned of why you don't need a coach, and these next 5 reasons of why you may really need a coach, but maybe not yet. These are things that I experience every day. I am a coach. I see many, many people all day long, every day of the week, and I get a lot. I have a big sample of things that work and don't work. So I say this with a lot of confidence, everyone. So please listen. I have a couple of clients in this situation, right? They have a very intense job. It's either a job with high responsibilities or high risk. They cannot risk people knowing that they're looking for jobs, right? Or they have such high responsibilities that in this turbulent times, it has been impossible for them to find the time to seek another job. They just have too much on their plate. So they can really only job hunt when they're either not doing the jobs that they're doing, or when they find, that a career break, a sabbatical, something that they can, step out of their roles and seek my help or just do it themselves. And if you listen to the previous episode on how to create the space for a sabbatical, how to plan for it, then you know what I mean. It may be that a sabbatical can be used for that career planning and the initiation, at least, of a job search. So that's one of the reasons why you may really need a coach, but it just may be impossible for you to carve the time to do that, either because you have such a intense job of high responsibility, or there's a high risk of others knowing that you're looking for work and you can't afford for that to happen. The other reason would be that coaching is an investment of time as well as money. It's not just money. Coaches are not fairy godmothers. They're not like Aladdin's, lamp that you rub or a pill that you take and boom, you're ready to go. There's a lot of work involved. It's a partnership. The coach is there to support you when you're playing the game of being recruited and selected for a job. It's not the coach that's going to be playing that game for you. It's you playing the game and the coach supporting you, recommending some tweaks and changes, better strategies, better games. And there's work involved in you listening and adapting your game to include these more best practice techniques. And finding the time to do that is just as important as having the money to pay for a coach. So until you get that, the coach may not be something that you can do. And I remember talking to a professional who at the time just could not find the time. Some, especially women, find it really hard because they have such mental loads and they have so much on their plate with family responsibilities and kids and work, full-time jobs. And I remember telling her, like, I can see you really want my coaching, but you will need to find the time. And it took her many, many months to come back to me and say, okay, I'm ready now. And I think that's the best way of working with somebody honestly and explaining that it will only help them when they find the time, as well as making the financial investment. So that's another reason. The third reason why coaching may not work for you, even though you really need it, is because you've decided to overhaul your entire life. And there's too much on your plate. The stressors accumulate. So if you tell me, look, I'm having surgery and I need to lose weight and I want a new job and I'm also moving house and I'm also renovating, there is too much going on in your life. So in that 30-minute call that you booked with me, I will probably tell you will have to pick and choose. There is no way that you are going to renovate your house, move your mother to a retiring village, do your back surgery, adopt a dog, and, lose weight and do coaching all at the same time. And, I laugh. It's funny, but it's true. A lot of people, they have I do too. I want to do so much all the time, but we just need to plan, maybe prioritize and understand what's more important, what will come first. And sometimes things just happen and we sometimes have to park the coaching, right? Sometimes something happens in one of my clients' lives and we say, okay, we can't continue. Let's park for 3 months and then do it again. We come back and start working again in 3 months' time. So sometimes there's too much on your plate. Another reason is you're having personal problems. There are other stressors there. And even though it's not you trying to overhaul your whole life, but it may be that there is a health issue that's impacting your ability to concentrate and find the energy to do the job search and the career plans. Maybe there are relationship issues, family issues, carers issues, mental health, all of that means that you can't find the time. And again, if you have already started coaching with me, we may take a break, a hiatus, and come back and we set a date. It's all planned. It's not like, when you're ready, come back. No, I like to really set a time so that we can be in touch and, and I know that not to bother you whilst you're so busy with other things, but we know that we have this plan in place that we will catch up again in the near future. The other reason is you may need other types of support that is not just coaching, and they may need to come before coaching. If it has to do with your health, if it has to do with maybe needing counseling, that could be the first step before coaching, and then the coaching happens after that. Sometimes they can be done together. I have clients that have both, that counseling will come before coaching, or clients that have counseling and coaching happening at the same time. But it's just one of the things to really consider so that you, as I said before, don't have all those stressors accumulating. To look for work requires a lot of energy. You need to be at the top of your game to be in a competition with other candidates, right? So think about it from that perspective. And to be at the top of your game is really important. And that's where you need to be if you're going to be 100% invested in your career. The final reason why you may not be able to do coaching right now, even though you really need it, is you don't like being coached. It requires being open to new ideas. It requires revisiting old assumptions, accepting change, accepting help. And that's the hardest individual to help and coach. And I usually can tell, during the 30-minute interview if we are going to gel well together or not. Sometimes it's a matter of finding the right coach for the client. Maybe it's not me. Maybe it's another coach that can help that client in a better way. But if you have maybe the personality of not really being open to accepting help and being open to new ideas, then coaching may not be for you. And it requires a certain level of vulnerability and openness. And it's a partnership, and there will be lots of things that I will tell you to do that you may not be willing to do. and it's a matter of finding the right strategies to make it fun, make it interesting, make it exciting, and not something that will cause anxiety to you, of course. But recruitment and selection and job search, it's tough. It requires you to talk about yourself and address things about your profession that you prefer not to. And all of those things may come up in job interviews, and you need to be ready for it. So yeah, coaching sometimes can be challenging. So, not the other thing that I wanted to say today in this episode is that not all coaches are the same, right? So if you are looking for qualified coaches, the guests on this podcast are a great way of, looking for them. I mean, if you trust me, if you're still here with me listening, episode 132 and 30 minutes in or more, then I'm assuming you trust my advice and my recommendations. And then if you're looking for a leadership coach or a diverse and inclusion coach, then a leadership coach could be somebody like Sasha Kaufman or Michelle Redfern for leadership and diversity and inclusion. If you're looking for a life coach or somebody that will provide you with a better sense of purpose, then maybe Cassandra Goodman. She also works with me inside the Job Hunting Made Simple group coaching program. In terms of career coaching, of course, there's me. There's also Sue Zablud. She's fantastic. She also works with me inside the group coaching program, Job Hunting Made Simple. If you want to know more about Job Hunting Made Simple, there will be a link to it in the show notes below. It's my group coaching, and it will be happening again in August. So what sort of coach do you need, right? Is it really a career coach? Or maybe you have a job and you're just not settling in well, and you might need somebody to help you settle in, and that might be a leadership coach or an executive coach. Still have a consultation with me, a 30-minute consultation with me, and I will try to help you find the best coach for you if that's what you want. But maybe after this episode, you've realized that you don't need a coach, or maybe it's not the right time for you to get a coach. And the thing about coaching too is that career coaches like myself, we have the private clients, but we have a range of services that are much more affordable. So if you're thinking, I can't afford it, I bet you can afford the Reset Your Career program. And that alone can be so helpful. There's so much content in there. I basically packed it with content because I want people to take baby steps towards coaching and not just sign up for something that's above their means. And I want people to experience what career coaching can do for their careers, the benefit that it can do. And the Reset Your Career is just, I think, just over 200 Australian dollars. That's not even 180 US dollars, I think. So think about that. Consider enrolling and accessing it straight away. It's available to you straight away. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I am going to go away now, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.